You'll find them all over the place. Pinterest, Etsy, First Dibs, eBay. Ugh.
There's an old curiosity shop. Every once in a while I go by there for the fond recollections that lie there in that old curiosity shop.
Well, good folk, good morning. I'm in my first store of the day, and I've only been here for about 15 minutes, the very first store, and look at my cart. Oh my goodness, I had to run around and do so much shopping so quickly. We're gonna have to look at all of this later. Looks like a piece of Avon here. I'm certain that is. I don't know if it's marked on the back or not. Yeah, it is marked Avon. Normally don't pick those pieces up. That's a unique design there, an Asian design, and I'm not quite sure about that. But I tell you what, let me get out from under this loudspeaker. Why don't I do that? Well, I've pulled over here to the side just to give you a quick look, since you're dying to find out. Here's a wonderful 1930s waffle iron, also sandwich press. I've got some bookends from the 1920s with buffaloes. You're going to look down in this cart and say, what? Do I see fairy lamps? You do, and you see a pair of them. We'll look at them later on. I have some teapots down there. One of them is musical. I've got 3 EAPG glass cake stands and 41 pieces of Anchor Hocking Royal Ruby Red for the price of $24.99. And look, here's another cream and sugar. Just got one of those the other day. And then some other things there in the bottom of the cart you can't quite see. You know, we'll take a much closer look and talk about everything at some other point. All right, I've kind of grouped some things together here because they do play the music rather loudly in this particular store as well. And I want to keep talking, so what I put together here to take a look at is a refrigerator dish for $2.99, and this one is nice. I have not yet found one until today that's got Fire King right on the lid. Do you see that? See there, Fire King USA. Interesting that it's on the lid and not on the base or on the bottom of the thing. I will probably put that in my cart. In fact, I'm going to do it right now. And while it goes down into the cart, we'll take a look at 2 of these Hoosier cabinet shakers. Well, one is a shaker and one has a solid lid for spices. Those are $2 each. These are going to go back to the 1930s. I will say no to these little deco shot glass, cordial glass things here. I've got plenty of those, and I can get them cheaper than $1.99. And then there was something else. Oh, I did spot the Waterford pattern by Anchor Hocking, and here it is, right in the sherbets. This is a mid-30s pattern. Well, what a day this is turning out to be so far, and I've only been to 2 shops. One 2nd Avenue thrift store in Philadelphia, yeah. The second store is a Goodwill, which isn't far from there. Now, that huge shopping cart, I'm just going to show you 2 things. We'll look at all of that glass some other time because I'm not unpacking it. But from the very first store and what you saw buried down in my shopping cart, I have 2 bookends. They're dated either 26 or 27. This is called the Buffalo Hunt. But we won't get bogged down with company history on these at the moment. Now, obviously, there was a Buffalo collector, because not only were these antique 1920s bookends on the shelf, but sitting very close to it was this guy right here. Now, he is completely unmarked unless the mark is just hiding somewhere, and I've really been looking at him, but there might possibly be a very small foundry mark or maker's mark somewhere on him. I'm not concerned that there isn't or that I can't see it. The quality screams antique, meaning I believe this goes back to at least the 1920s. Look at the detail. We don't see gaps between mold lines with screws, and look at the gilding on there. That is antique, folks, right? You know the expression, age has a way of sitting on a piece. Yeah, well, looking at this, there's age, and it's sitting all over this thing. My guess on this American Buffalo is that it's a piece that does go back to probably the 1920s or before. The quality is there, and I'm going to have a lot of fun doing some digging to try to figure out a little bit more about him. These were the only two old Buffalo items. There were some other items there of Buffalo collectibles that were not as old as these and didn't quite have the quality. Then I moved up, so that's just two items from that first store. I can't even get to the rest of it because it's all back here in bags, and I'll fiddle with it later. So I got two of the seller's cabinets, Hoosier cabinet pieces of glass. This one has a solid lid for, in order to keep spices in it. And then the other one has a shaker. And then, of course, there's that dirty Anchor Hocking refrigerator drawer. Refrigerator dish. I love that it says Fire King right there on the lid. Do I need to know who the maker is? Study your books. You don't need to memorize makers. And I don't know if this is U.S. Glass or Paden City or Falstoria or Imperial or fill in the blank, Westmoreland. I don't know. It's one of them. This type of pitcher was very popular in the 1920s, turn of the century into the 20s, early 30s. And they were water sets or lemonade sets. This is one in crystal that has the encrusted flowers, and it retains its original. Sometimes they had lids. Wow, there's the original glass lid that has been sitting right there on top of this ever since it was made. So this is 100, if it's not 100 years old, it's knocking on the door, very close. There's a little bit of gold loss right here, which I'm going to touch that back up myself. So there it is. This would have had matching juice glasses to go, lemonade or water glasses to go with it, which right now are long gone. Okay, I've already spent over $100 today, and I can't wait to show you what else is back there. But I promise you, that's going to have to come on another day with another thrift haul. I've got about 6 more shops to head to today. It's 10:30 in the morning. Let's hit it.
Was in the year of '89 on that old Chicago line when the winter wind was blowing the thrill. The rails were froze, the wheels were cold, and then the air brakes wouldn't hold, and number 9 came roaring down the hill. Oh, the runaway train come down the track and she flew. The runaway train came down the track and she flew. The runaway train came down the track, her whistle wide and her throttle back, and she flew. Oh, the engineer said the train was halting, she flew. The engineer said the train was halting, she flew. The engineer said the train was halt, he said it was all the fireman's fault, she flew. The fireman said he rang the bell and she flew, she flew. The fireman said he rang the bell and she flew. The fireman said he rang the bell and the engineer said you did like and she flew. Oh, the porter got an awful fright and she flew, she flew. The porter got an awful fright and she flew. The reporter got an awful fright. He got so scared that he turned white and blue.
Oh, sweet. Take a look right there. You see it? Do you see it? I know you see it. If I see it, you see it. That's right. There is a tidbit tray circa 1930 with factory decoration. Absolutely. It's only $3. This is a nice one. The paint is wonderful. What are these weeds on here? You tell me what kind of weed that is. Yep, there's the blue on the back side and the flowers on the top. That is sweet, and it's going in my cart. Let's put it in there right now. What about that one piece of watermelon glass, as collectors call it, with the chip? Yeah, I don't know. I might just throw it in my cart. Well, place it. It is already damaged. And everybody says, well, you can have that filed out. Yes, you can, but that chip is significant enough that even if you file it out, you are going to see that it's been filed down. Nice piece of EPG, and I don't know that I want to go to the hassle of doing all of that. So, yeah, there's always an expense involved in getting glass repaired, and then, as you know, it's always a piece of repaired glass. Ooh, I see an Anchor Hocking banded rings. Let me get my body down here on the floor. Okay, well, 3 pieces here. I promise you I didn't set these up like this, but there's a piece of early American press cut, isn't it? Yeah, by Anchor Hocking. There's the the Windsor. Try it again, Scott. The Waterford pattern sitting right there by Anchor Hocking. And then this is the rings. Sometimes they're painted, but many times they are not. Let's see if there's any damage. That's only $5 on that picture. If it's not damaged, I'll take it. I like this pattern. It's an early pattern from the 20s. This is a little cloudy, but I think it's just scum. So I'll put it in there and I'll look at it very closely before I exit the store. Get down in there. Okay. And I guess we'll keep looking as we're shopping along here. So oftentimes, again, you'll see painted rings on the Anchor Hocking piece. I'm kind of just going, I'm talking to you as I'm zipping up and down these aisles. I don't stop and look at everything. If I did that, you'd be an hour on every single aisle. So I do pass by a lot of things, even though I may or may not know what it is. You certainly can't talk about everything. I was hoping that I would find an entire set of this glass. And there might have been, and they decided not to buy this one because of the chip in the bottom. So, yeah, okay. Well, I have a small collection of pink and green glasses from the 1920s. And I'm going to make a decision to leave that there and let someone else discover it. All right, let's hit it. Let's go to the next aisle. Okay, using my store lingo, I believe you call this an end cap. And let's just go from the bottom to the top. Down here on the bottom, the only thing I see that I would like to pick up and take a closer look at is this bowl right here. This pattern glass bowl. I like that. It's $5. We'll put that back down. And we'll continue to move our way up. And let's see, that's not old, that's not old. This looks very Art Deco, does it not? I kind of like that. $3 on that ashtray. There's a piece of depression glass for $3.99. That's nice with the black on the bottom. And the wheel cut flowers there, but there's only one. All right, I'm gonna place that back. And oh gosh, right in front of me, look at this. This might be the oldest thing on the shelf. That is a EAPG type of a cruet. That's a big one. And it looks as though this might be, that is a matching stopper. That's a pretty good deal to have that matching stopper. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, pressed glass, patterned glass. This probably dates to the turn of the century. So we're back in the, somewhere from 1890 to 1910, roughly. Okay, what do they want for it? They want, $7, maybe. Yeah, it's got the wear on the bottom that you would expect to see. I'll think about that. I like it. And I don't normally find that size. That's a nice, that's big. All right, I'm about to flip out because you know I am a cup and saucer person. And in all these years that I've been fishing around and finding the Mildred pattern, I don't think I have ever found a Mildred cup and saucer. And here one is. And it's $3 and I'm buying it. I never find Mildred marked, but it's made by Mount Clemens, USA. You could buy this at Woolworths in 1928. Let's put it in the cart. You saw some soup bowls a little while ago, but honestly, I don't know what it is about the cups and saucers. I've just never found one until today. Both pieces dating back to the very late 1920s into the 30s. The anchor hocking rings, pitcher. The Mildred cup and saucer, that's gonna stay with me. As I told you, never have I found a Mildred cup and saucer until today. What can I say? You know how I love my painted glass of the Roaring 20s into the early Depression, and this is just a fantastic example. Made by any number of companies, American companies, in sort of the Ohio River Valley area, West Virginia, Western Pennsylvania. That's a nice one. And I did go ahead and buy this, and I'm already going to tell you, I know what you're going to do, because just for kicks and jollies, I did it too. Although I completely ignored what I saw. What am I talking about? Well, if I held this up and I said, I have no idea, you would Google image it and you'd say, oh, Scott, there's one on the internet for $175. There's one on the internet for $130. It's this, it's that. Just for kicks and jollies, I Google imaged it. Yep, you'll find them all over the place. Pinterest, Etsy, First Dibs, eBay, goes on and on and on. You know what? I still don't know, and that's fine because I'm not settling for anything. I did it very quickly in the store. I had already made up my mind to buy it, but I thought it would just be fun to see. I already know it's antique EAPG, no doubt. Which company made it? I don't know. And what's the name of the pattern? I don't know. I'll find out, but word to the wise, as soon as you think you have found it, that's when your search begins. What? You heard me? As soon as you Google image it, and you say, oh, it's blah, 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 don't you stop there. Keep searching. Find a second source. A third source. You need to be able to have credible sources to validate when you call something, right? When you identify a piece. That's the reason why I almost never do the Google image thing. It's okay to start there. It is not okay to finish there. So don't go by what someone says it is or by what someone is asking for it, right? Okay, I might have to unbutton this because it's another warm day today, but I've got several more stores to go to. Off we go. I'm so glad you're shopping with me today. Right, nothing I like better than digging around in the clear glass There's an antique candlestick right there. That's almost 100 years old. At least that's back to the 20s. Is that imperial? Well, I don't have to know. I just do know that it's old. Let's see here. Oh golly, there's a 19, is that Federal or Hocking or Hazel Atlas mixing bowl from these I think are New Martinsville. That's not Janus. Oh, there's some candle wick. This is a nice one here. Let me get that out. There's only one. Oh gosh, that's pretty. Turn that upside down. That's an old one too. And a lot of times when I'm upside down, I'm looking to see if there's any wear on the bottom of it. Okay. And there's just that one in candlewick. All right, I'm going to go to some different aisles and then come back to this aisle again. Those are nice as well. Yeah, I'm coming back. Well, thrift store, I am allowed to have my opinion, but I guess I'll keep it to myself. 10, 20, 30, 33, 34, $36 for those three? These are a little cheaper back here, but no.
You could stop at 5 or 6 stores, or just one.
Somebody got rid of their cream and sugar collection here. Wow, there's a lot of it. Some of it just run-of-the-mill pressed glass, and then some of it here are certain patterns that you'll recognize from the Depression era. That's an older one there, that's pretty. Wow, that is a lot of creams and sugars. Nothing outstanding, a lot of old. A lot of old, that's right. Yep, you know what these patterns are, many of these. But no, I don't think I'm gonna jump on any of those. That's a pretty one there, but that's probably just the sugar bowl. I don't see any creamer to go with it. Some restaurant wear. Oh, I just saw a piece of pedalware. I will take a closer look at that. See, you get down here on the floor and you see things. All right, let's move this out of the way. And for $3.99, it's a beautiful piece, and that was gilded around the edges. So there's a Macbeth Evans pedalware in, sometimes right in the middle it'll say Made in USA. You see it right there? I don't know but whether you can or not. I like pedalware. $4 is more than I would like to pay for that, but I'm gonna put it in there anyway, and I'll let it run through my brain as I'm shopping. We'll take a look at that tin and that blue pitcher in a little bit, but I'm going to say bye-bye, Crackle Glass. I wish you were not quite as expensive as that. Oh well. All right, lots of dishes to be seen here. There's a very common piece of Depression glass right there. I'm not even gonna pull it out. Is it spoke? Wait, what's that say? The Circus. Made in Japan, probably for a child. Well, anytime I see this much restaurant wear, I always think, oh, another poor old New Jersey diner has gone out of business. Or some old cafeteria. Now, there's quite a bit of it here, quite a bit of it, and heck no, I'm not taking all of this home with me, but I'll go through and see what I can match up. I think some of it is marked Homer Laughlin. You can see there, these pieces are. And then, but then some of the teacups are Buffalo China. So it's all very similar, but I want to match up the best that I can, and then I'll put some in my cart. So I'm going to do that, and there's probably 400 pieces of it there. So we'll come back to it. There it is. I wanted to show you this Manhattan bowl. I've got one at home. This one has a chip on the rim right there. I don't know what that sells for, but with that little chip on the rim, I'm going to say no. It's $6 here in the thrift shop. There's a Depression console bowl for $6 in blue with 3 little feet on it. That might be something. I'm gonna have to check that and see if it's got any chips on it. That might be something that I'm interested in. Boy, that's a pretty one. Not marked Cambridge on the bottom. I thought it might be a Cambridge piece. I don't see, a lot of times Cambridge is marked, but I guess not always. Oh, these cranberry sets. Didn't everybody have one? See there? I love it when it comes out in the shape of a can. How much is it? I don't want that. Yep, never been. Probably somebody given us a gift, never used. Oh my heavens. The tag says 2 unique chairs for $300. Yep, they are unique. You're gonna get a kick out of this. Now, I already looked at it to make sure there weren't any depictions that would be, offensive today, because it does say Old South. We got Old South candies, and you can kind of tell by the look of the colors, the print, and everything on this tin. Yeah, I paid $3. We're probably with these colors, we're probably just before the Second World War, but it could be just after. Although I would kind of bet on maybe the late 30s. But anyway, the funny thing is that the Old South candies were made by the Brandel and Smith company, division of Ludens. Ludens, the cough drop people of guess where? Reading, Pennsylvania. Ooh, clutch their pearls. We can't have Old South candies coming from Yankee land. Well, too bad. Anyway, that's that. I'll probably keep this tin. That reminds me of the Christmas mix. Yeah. Okay, and then I think, talking about West Virginia glass, I think that is a piece of either Louis or I think this might be West Virginia cobalt glass from the 1930s or 40s. It's got the look. It's got a applied handle, as you can see there. It's good quality cobalt. It just looks like a picture made in that part of the country and at that time. But you'll see a lot of tableware here. Do you see this? Now that can be faked, but in this particular case, it looks like it's actually honest tableware, which would indicate that this has been sliding around for many years. So I think we've got a piece of West Virginia cobalt blue glass from the 30s or 40s. And then, hopefully when I get home, we'll see. I had quite a bit of confusion at the checkout line. The lady was very nice. I did manage to, I hope, when I count it all up, I should have 8 cups, I should have 8 saucers, and I should have 8 bread and butter plates. These actually are very small in a restaurant or in a diner, which would be bread and butter plates. So, or a very small dessert plate. Now, this is restaurant ware, and we'll let you see the back of it there. Okay, we're all familiar with that back stamp and that particular company. There was a ton of this, and there was no way I was going to go home with all of it. But it always makes me feel like another old New Jersey diner maybe is closed. What I'm going to do is sell 2 sets of 4, and I'm going to call them little dessert sets. You'll get 4 cups and saucers, right? And if you want 8, just buy the second set. And you'll also get 4 little dessert plates, but you can see the little dessert plates are really almost the same size as the saucers. So you can have 2 cookies. That's it. Come on now, swimsuit season. Right around the corner. All right, let's put this back together again. Hopefully when we get home. I don't know though, I had to do a lot of digging to match everything up. Okay, I am now ready to go, and I think get a little something to get some ice water or something like that. Wash my hands properly, and then we've got 1, 2, maybe 3 more stores to go before we cross back into Jersey. It's been a fun day. 1930s. Too bad I don't have a baby or a big enough kitchen. I'd buy it and bring it home and put it in my kitchen. Look at that. Classic 30s, classic 30s. And look, it's a transformer. You can see that this has hinges and it's got wheels. So we can, let's see, what is this back here? So there's 4 wheels. This can turn into like a little rolling stroller type thing. And there are beads down here. So this must come up to where the baby, however this gets folded, it's all falling apart. This has to come up so that the baby can play with those. Yeah. Oh gosh, that is so cool. And there's probably a furniture mark on it somewhere, probably on the back or the underside. We won't fiddle with it too much because I want to get inside. Anyway, I love that thing. Okay, there is Mr. Cheese and Cracker Set, missing the cheese, but there's the cracker dish. I'm not interested in that. I am very much interested in what's in my cart, and it's a little dark back here. Look at these. The quality is excellent. I think they're Heisey. Now, Heisey would sometimes put the H in the diamond in very strange places. So you really have to study, and I haven't done that yet. Doesn't matter to me whether they're marked or not, or whether they're Heisey or not. The quality is already telling me excellent, excellent, excellent. They have their Bobesch attachments. They could also be Cambridge. They're missing all their glass prisms, which I'll have to replace. Okay, and one of them sadly has a tiny chip on one of the pedals here at the top. Now normally I don't like damaged goods, but we have a pair of candlesticks. They're circa 1930. They it's excellent, high quality glass. And when we get all those prisms on there, boy, it's gonna be a showstopper. So I'm not gonna cry too much about that one tiny chip. And yes, there's one of these, and yes, I need one. And this is made in Japan in the 1930s. Yep. There's the Japan mark. $2 is too much to pay for that, but I'm going to get it because I have a set of 5. I need 1 to complete and have the set of 6. All right, that goes with the big corn platter. And let me get back down here because I did see a Hazel Atlas crisscross reamer in crystal, and that is $3.95. Which is not a bad price for a 1930s, 40s juice reamer. But as you know, I've got a truck full. So I am going to be very, very careful with what else I purchased today. All right, around the corner. I'm over the moon about these. These are going to be excellent. And you know, what did I see I was going to talk about? Let's go look at this just for a minute. Anyone who collects glass or has been in this business for a while, you're going to recognize this particular shape. It's called Baroque, and it was made by Fostoria. Now, there's no etching on it, but this would be a good time to talk about patterns that sometimes folks get confused, because this is what's called the shape, or the blank, or the mold. Yeah, and Baroque was one of Fostoria's most popular. It was made for decades, and they put several different etches on it. You might see it with an etch called chintz. And one person might say, oh, that's a piece of chintz, and somebody else might say that's a piece of Baroque. Well, they're both right. It is the Baroque blank with a chintz etch on it, if it were etched, but this particular one is not. So one of these things with the elegant depression glass, you have to learn shapes, right? Lines, and then you also have to learn the different types of etches. So talk about lifelong learning. Here these are in better, let's see. Yeah, look at the quality of that glass. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm going to study it and see if there's an H on it for Heisey. Let's put them down here where they won't get... I know you guys don't like it. When I put it up, you're always afraid I'm going to throw things on the floor. I have never had anything fall out of my cart yet, but I'll get in trouble if I put stuff up here in the baby seat. All right, keep shopping. Oh my goodness, I'm flipping out. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. Okay, let me turn around because I'm being stared at. Look at this. In this bucket here, 2 candlesticks, the Bobesh attachments, and the elegant etched shades. I'm gonna fall on the floor right now. Let me put this in my cart. Oh my word. Well, hot ziggity dog. If I were any more excited, I would be twins. Now, you know what? I promise you I did not plan this. I really did not. Sometimes I plan things. This was unplanned and unscripted. So we saw that single. It was either 3-light or a double light. Now I can't remember. But it was the Fostoria Baroque, and it had no etch on it. It was just a plain. And it was just kind of talking about learning blanks of shapes. Yeah, it's a good place to start. So I turned the corner, and of course in this bucket, oh my gosh, Baroque, there it is again, single light Fostoria. Now, you know, not a huge deal here because the Baroque shape was made probably from the mid-30s into the well, Fostoria made it as long as they were around. So we have 2 candlesticks. The rest of it is in here. But what is absolutely amazing, here is the Bobesh attachment, which we will place on the top. That takes these up a notch. And then the etched shades. Now, I am suspect. These were in the same tub. But what I noticed is the etch. Now, this is elegant etched and this is Depression era, but that etch appears to be different from the etch on the base. And these don't fit. You see, they don't actually, now if you put a candle in there, but they don't slide down and they don't fit. So I'm thinking that someone has grouped all of this together. The Bobesh attachments are beautiful, they fit perfectly, and these can go together. These, I'm going to have to double check and see if this is also a Fostoria etch, but it's very clear to me that these glass shades here have nothing to do with the candlesticks. I'll show you again. They just don't, you know, there's no way. This would actually sit down in and be held in place. So this isn't quite right. So something's going on here, and we'll take a look at those etches when I get home and determine if all of this glass is made by the same company. It might not be, but either way, $6.95 for this. I need to just take a break. Okay, cats and kittens, let's talk about this. Now, when I bought these in the store, they were inside of a plastic container, completely taped up. There was no way to get them out. Not a problem. I'm thrilled with the $6.79 that I paid, or whatever it was. But once I was able to get them out in the car, get them out of the box that they were in, we can clearly see that this is a marriage. And, well, let's talk a little bit more about the individual pieces. Now, I knew right away that that was the Baroque blank by Fostoria. I didn't recognize the etch. It's called Wildflower. I'll turn it around and let you see it. Is it Wildflower? Wild Rose? It's Wild something. Anyway, there it is. No big deal. But that etch does not match the etch on these shades, and these don't fit. The scale is wrong. They don't fit. Come to find out, and I should have known this while I was sitting in the car, but that's Cambridge Rose Point. Rose Point introduced in 1935, and this etch, Wild Rose or Wild, yeah, I think it's Wild Rose or Wildflower, introduced in 1936. So they were both born, 1 year apart from each other in the early days of the Depression. And then, of course, the Bobesch attachments are not etched at all. Both companies did make these Bobesch attachments, but they would etch them as well. So who knows? Sometimes they were aftermarket, but these have no etch. So what we know is we've got a Fostoria etch from the 30s. We have Cambridge shades, also introduced in the 30s, although both of these patterns were made for decades, and the Bobesch attachments. Now, just the pair of these, glass with glass prisms, not plastic, and I'm not missing any, that was worth 3 times, 5 times what I paid for the entire box. The candlesticks are lovely just as they are in the Fostoria Baroque pattern with the etch. These, I'm going to have to do some digging. These are definitely etched with the Rose Point Cambridge etch, but I've never seen these. I guess they're little candle sconces, and I'm suspecting that they would have somehow fit down to be attached onto some other glass Cambridge candlesticks, that maybe the keyhole pattern. But I have not gotten into my depression glass books yet, so not sure. But that's that mystery solved. We have, I think this is a marriage that we're going to split up, because just because they were in the same plastic tub does not mean that they were all manufactured to go together, and indeed they don't. But that was a lot of fun digging through that. Now let's get back to the shopping. What an amazing thrifting day. I left the house at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it is now 5 of 4. I'll be home in about 30 minutes, but I want to show you the last item that I purchased in the very last store, and it's this big guy right here. Now, when I looked at it on the bottom shelf with my eyeballs, I couldn't tell whether it was glass or pottery, and I thought, I bet that's pottery. It's so big and so thick. It's glass. It's in a classical form. That is black glass, and I can't decide whether I think it was L.E. Smith or Imperial. I don't have an L.E. Smith glass book. I'm going to have to speak to my buddy David in Texas, who has an L.E. Smith glass book. This thing is massive. I guess I could take the price tag off the bottom. If it's marked, and it's, I don't expect it to be marked unless there's an IG on it for Imperial glass, meaning that it was made sometime in the 60s, and I've pulled the price tag off, and there is nothing on the bottom. I really didn't expect there to be. So good heavens, that is heavy. Okay. The truck is filled. Now, you know that tomorrow I will wash everything, do my research, and instead of having a full front seat thrift haul today, we'll do that some other time. It's Friday. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I plan on it. But right now I need to get myself home and rest for just a little bit so I can get my weekend on. Now, as always, thanks for watching. What did you like? What didn't you like? What do you think of this? Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I even bought myself an Easter tablecloth. I interrupted myself. That's it for now. Thanks for shopping with me. Tell me all your thoughts in the comment box below, and we'll see you the next time. Until then, wait for the cat. Thanks for watching, and so long for now.